Hi, it's Grandma Lori. Today's story is about the Maximum Murph Detective Agency. The case of the missing bone. One bright morning, Murphy looked out the window to see Max in the yard wearing his detective hat. Being a very curious wiener dog, he went out to investigate. "Max," Murphy called, "why are you wearing your detective hat?" Max turned and replied, "My bone is missing, and I'm trying to find it. The hat helps me think." "I'll help. After all, I'm your detective partner," said Murphy. With that, the Maximum Murph Detective Agency was on the case. Together, Max and Murphy began to search the big backyard. They sniffed here and they sniffed there, but still couldn't find it. Max was getting frustrated. He looked up into the sky and saw his friend Rojo, the cardinal, in the tree. He said, "Hey Rojo, have you seen my bone?" Rojo looked down from the tree and said, "No, Max. No, I'm sorry, I haven't seen your bone, but maybe Sneaky Pete has." Max saw Sneaky Pete the squirrel sitting on a branch watching. He said, "Sneaky Pete, have you seen my bone?" Being a sneaky squirrel, Sneaky Pete just looked at Max and said, "Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I'm not telling you because you chase me every time I'm in the yard." Suddenly Murphy shouted, "Max, I smell something!" Max ran as quickly as he could to see what Murphy was talking about. Murphy was standing on a pile of dirt. Max sniffed in the hole Murphy had dug and smelled a familiar scent. A bone scent. "That's it!" he exclaimed. "That must be where my bone is buried." Max with his big feet and Murphy with his speed began to dig. They dug and dug. Suddenly, there it was, the end of a bone. "Hooray!" exclaimed Max. They continued to dig to get the bone loose and found another bone. They were very excited because now they would each have a bone. They grabbed the bones and turned to leave when they realized they had a problem. They were so busy digging, they hadn't paid attention to how deep the hole was. They couldn't get out. "Finnegan will help us," said Murphy. "Finnegan! Finnegan!" Finnegan, being the good boxer boy he was, heard them and went to investigate himself. He followed the sound and soon discovered the big hole Max and Murphy were in. "What are you doing down there?" asked Finnegan. Max said, "I was searching for my bone with Murphy, but we dug a little too much and now we're trapped. Our legs are too short to climb out. Will you help?" "Of course," Finnegan said as he reached down and grabbed first Max, then Murphy, pulling them out of the hole. "Thanks, Finnegan, you're a real pal," Murphy said excitedly, because Murphy is excited about everything. The boys were so happy to be out of the hole that they offered Finnegan their bones, but Finnegan told them to keep them. He already had his and didn't need another. With that, another case was solved by the Maximum Murph Detective Agency, with the help of their muscle man, Finnegan. The boys went into the house, each to their favorite spot, and promptly fell asleep, the bones laying in front of their noses.